a stretch to the edge. What a hurl by Jackson! Highlight reel touchdown! The seed is going to be Louisville in front. Louisville, national champion.
Hello again, everybody. I am your co-host, Kyle, joined by co-hosts Ty and Ash. That's right. Ash, been gone for a while, but definitely not forgotten. And we are back with another episode of the Third Banner Pod. And I'm really glad to see everybody in here tonight as they file in. Huge game tomorrow. Louisville versus Tennessee. Before we get into that, Ash, it's been a while, man.
Yeah, I had some snafus with my move and everything. Finally, we got into our house here. We settled in here in Crescent Hill. We didn't get our keys until September. So what I thought was going to be a quick and easy move last spring turned into quite the ordeal. As you can tell, my studio has not even yet been set back up. I'm kind of down here in the dungeon, as my wife calls it, in the basement.
Yeah,
I got a little kind of rigged together setup, but hopefully eventually I can get my man cave put back together like I like it. I appreciate everybody being on the pod and kind of taking the torch a little bit and keeping things going. I apologize to you, Kyle, and Ty, and Ross, and everybody else for how long it took me to kind of get back together. But I did miss everybody. I missed being on the pod and being kind of a part of the regular rotation. So,
ain't got to apologize to me, brother. Life is life, and that's just how it is.
Which does lead us into, if people did see her tweet, I don't know who all listening knows, but I've tried to let people know as they come on. Couch House, good to see you. Nick, Ezra, always a pleasure, guys. But we've just had a lot of stuff coming up as a pod group, stuff that, like, serious stuff that is understandable stuff. I know, like, Pat wanted to be on here tonight, but he had a hardship in his family, so he's not able to be on here. We've just had a lot of different things, different moving pieces, and I announced it on Twitter already, and I've talked to a few people in our group chat about it, but I think for now, this is going to be our last episode of the pod for a while, and it's because we don't want to put out subpar content. We've just had a really hard time knowing who's going to be on the pod the day of the pod because stuff's come up, and this has been going on. We've tried to meet about it, and it's nobody's fault. Nobody in the group, at least to my knowledge, has any issues with anybody. I certainly don't.
No.
And so it's nothing that's happened as far as divisiveness. It's just been that, our content, when we were really rolling, I feel like we were, and I'm biased maybe, and people may disagree, but I feel like our pod was up there with any of them as far as local content. And that's no disrespect, because there's some really good stuff out there. But last few months, it's just gradually gotten harder for everybody. Like, I know Connor just took a job again in the, NIL landscape of college sports. So Connor's no longer going to be on the pod because it's a conflict of interest for Connor. I know Josh is an attorney. He's a contract attorney. He has huge overseas contracts he's dealing with right now. He can't be on. He's working 16-hour days.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ty just had a kid recently, and Ty's schedule, he works Friday, or he's off Friday nights because he works Sunday through Thursday night?
Sunday through Thursday, yeah.
So, yeah, and content episodes are better earlier in the week, so we don't get Ty for our content episodes. So we tried to split into Wednesdays and Fridays, and at the time when we had, like, everybody doing it, it worked out where we could split the episode, but over time we're having a hard time doing either episode. And it's
Right.
just, it's a, I hate it.
Well, and I thought I was going to be on the last 2 weeks, and then the week of the Wednesday night pod, I ended up meeting with donors of the university for both Wednesday, the last 2 weeks on Wednesday. So it was like, I told you guys 3 weeks ago I was going to be on, and then the last 2 weeks I had stuff come up for work both weeks, and it's like, and just so everybody knows, like we've just been doing this out of our own. It's just been a hobby for us. We'd hoped to grow it into something more, but like it's not like we were.
It's like
anything, so
it's like a lot of us have kids, and almost all of us are married, and then we all work full-time jobs. Like
I was going to say, full-time jobs, all that.
I've really enjoyed it. It's really it's a sad day for me because I put a lot of thought into it before I, had said we're going to have to really think about if we're going to continue to do this. I mean, it's kind of been in the back of my mind for a while. I was hoping we could all kind of make it work, but it just, for nobody's fault, no fault of anybody's, it just hasn't. And so,
well, and I know some of our listeners right now are posting that they're disappointed. But don't unsubscribe to the channel because, if there's something big that we want to just come on and celebrate, whoever's in the Discord, we'll just be like, hey, let's go on and just talk for a little bit. But there just won't be a regular schedule right now. I'm kind of taking hiatus, and then I'm trying to talk everybody into recommitting after the first of the year. Because holidays, I know for Ty, you're going to be a new dad and everything. I can't imagine your holiday schedule this year.
Oh, dude. Like everybody's house going to be there. There's so many presents and stuff. Yeah. Like you said, Ash, and Kyle, you obviously have alluded to it. Life gets in the way of things a lot of times. And, it's just been tough to get a consistent group of us together for these shows. And like you said, it's not anyone's fault. There's no bad blood between any of us. I think all 7 of us, we've all become great friends throughout this entire thing. And, talking to and getting to meet a lot of the viewers in person. I remember the spring game. Like, that was just so cool, dude. That was so cool meeting a lot of you guys that listen.
It's crazy because I was coming out of the basketball game Monday and somebody grabbed me and I was like, I haven't even been on the pod in months. And somebody at the basketball game just grabbed me and was like, hey. So it's just been weird.
Anthony, to answer your question, there is a chance, yes. But like I said, just for the near future, and we don't know how long the near future may be. It might be forever. Who knows?
I just don't want to tell somebody we'll be back.
We don't want to promise you that, like, we're coming back on this day. For now
it's over. I mean, for me at least, I don't speak for anybody else, or maybe the other guys may decide they want to come on here. They may change their mind, come on here next week. But I personally just, and
it's been hard.
You guys brought up Christmas too. Like, the weird thing about my schedule is there's 5 of us in my family, 3 kids, me and my wife. And out of us 5, 4 of us have birthdays within 3 weeks, and Christmas falls in between them all. So, so it's my birthday, Christmas, then Callie's birthday, then my stepdaughter's birthday, and then my wife's birthday, all by January 8th. So it's just, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't mind, like, I will make time, but at the end of the day, the content's where, like, we have to have people with designated roles to make the content good. I mean, I can come on here like we have been the last couple of months and hodgepodge it, kind of, where we don't really know who's going to be on. There's 1 or 2 of us on, or 1 or 2 more people on, but that's not what you guys joined up for.
When's the last time we had a full 4-person crew?
I've seen the sub count. It's just kind of plateaued, and that's, that's indicative of a show that's not putting out the content that we expect. And so until that's resolved, like, we just can't, and so we shouldn't. But that being said, man, we really appreciate you guys. We'll revisit this again towards the end because I want to really kind of give some final thoughts because, like I said, I don't know when or if the future holds anything more for this pod. I don't know. So
if we beat Kentucky, there might be a a resumption one night celebration.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
I could definitely get down for that.
So that being
And
said,
that's either football or basketball.
we'll revisit that towards the end. But we've got a big basketball game coming up, guys. First thing I want to do is say shout out to the football team. We weren't on Wednesday to talk about that. I don't want to go too in depth about that since the big basketball game. Everybody's talked about the football game a lot. I will say when we were on here Wednesday, me and Connor, before that game, we did not think we had a shot to beat Clemson. So I want to give kudos to the staff in particular for coaching their asses off and having our boys prepared to play their best game of the year on the road in a night game against Clemson, a game I did not see us, being a part of as far as being able to win it, much less dominating. So, I don't know if y'all had any quick thoughts about that before we jumped into the basketball stuff.
I was just super excited that we finally got that monkey off our back. It was like,
oh, it felt great.
I never thought that this would be the team that would actually do it too. So it was like,
admittedly, I didn't either.
I mean, it was just elation for me, and our defense coming through in such the way that they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So funny enough, me and Cardinal Companion. I don't know. A lot of you guys probably know Cardinal Companion on Twitter. He runs a lot of the Twitter spaces. We were playing Black Ops 6 the night before the Clemson game. And we were kind of talking about what we thought about how the game would go. And we both said, and I didn't get to say this on the show, obviously, but I just felt like that was one that Brom just wins. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt like that was just one that he would somehow get the guys up for. And he did. I mean, you gotta shout out the coaching staff, man. They had everybody prepared from the get go, man, from the jump. Isaac Brown, you can't talk enough about that kid, man. He is a stud. We have to bring him back next year, man. We have to. He's going to be the soul of that offense next year. He already is this year, really. Just a great win. It was so awesome to get the monkey off our back. And hopefully that propels us, next week to finish the season strong. I mean, 9-3 is still achievable. That's a great season, in my opinion.
It is.
And who knows? I'm not going to sit here and entertain the whole playoff thing, but if things go the right way, who knows? You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. And Max was pretty optimistic before the game, Cardinal Companion, as he's called. He was on his spaces and saying he felt good about it. I was like, well, I wish I felt good, buddy. I don't. I don't see Wes in here tonight. There's two different Wes's, but the Wes I'm talking about, not the one that's usually in here in the chat, but he felt like me. He's like, there's no way we're gonna win this game. So we were wrong. We were gladly wrong. Anthony, you were right. I remember you saying, you felt better about it than me and Connor certainly did. So congratulations to the football team, the players, the staff. I hope they can propel that into a positive momentum for the rest of the year. I think the bye week came at a good time to give them time to kind of recover from that hangover type of feeling, I hope, and then head in there and kick Stanford's ass, I hope. That being said, guys, I've never said in my life in the second game of a basketball season that we have a very crucial game that I won't call it a must-win game against Tennessee tomorrow, because you could absolutely lose that game and still make the tournament and still you could even have an amazing year and still lose this game. But it almost does feel like it is a must-win, and not because of a tournament resume, although it'd be a hell of a win. Mm-hmm. It'll end up being a quad 1 win, I would assume, at very worst to be quad 2. So it's big for that reason, but I mean, it's over. If that alone is not a reason to call it a must win in that game 2, we're not going to be on the bubble or anything, but it feels like a must win to me. And you guys tell me if you agree, because we're not over the hump yet as far as arriving and convincing the fans to buy all the way in. There's some of us hardcore people that are bought all the way in all the time, even when it sucks, and it has. But then there's a lot of people that for a multitude of reasons, not even just how bad we were the last 2 years, but the sanctions, the COVID, all these things hit
I mean,
like
it's
a
been 8
perfect.
years since we won a tournament game. So
Yeah, yeah. And so it's like a perfect storm of shit. And it's all kind of combined into like a shit soup where you know, pour all the ingredients of shit in there, throw a sanction here, a sanction there, throw a, you know, Mitch Barnhart screwing us out of a NCAA tourney bid we should have definitely had. Throw the blowout to Minnesota, and then throw Max last year in there. You got yourself a shit stew. The David Padgett year where we had a great team, but we lost.
Kyle, I
2-0.
had soup for dinner tonight, man. You're just ruining my appetite for soup, dude.
So yeah, I know, but it really has been a shit soup, and now here we are. We show promise, we show hope, but we have a new staff. We haven't really played anybody yet. But now in our second game, we get the number 12 team. This is a chance to put ourselves back on the map. And I would like to say, I know some people feel like, hey, you know, if we play them close, that'll be enough to get us back. I don't think so. I don't, because nobody remembers who loses games. Nobody remembers, oh, that team barely lost. And so, like I said, it's not like I'm saying it, that, you know, it's not going to be like, let's call out the staff if we lose to Tennessee in game 2. But it does feel to me like this is a chance to elevate and show like, yes, we really have arrived, and to bring some people back, to put us on the national map, to get some of these 25 recruiting kids, like to show them, because a lot of them are saying like, we're not going there until we see what you have. Here's your chance. Am I wrong to think that this is a must win for those reasons?
no, I don't. I think must win it's a different term.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I would qualify it as a must win, because a must win means like your season's going to go down the tubes if you lose it.
Yeah.
I think that, but I think it's I think it's and I can't think of a better term either. So I'm sorry on that regard. But what I think that this has to do is, from a fan standpoint, if we were to pull this win off, and we can win it by 1 point or 20 points, either way, I think it has the same result from the fans.
Yeah.
It would just, because Monday night just felt, and I wasn't here for the Kenny Payne game, so I can't say what the enthusiasm in the crowd was like. Even though Monday night was not sold out, there was still kind of an energy in the crowd. I was sitting there just looking around and just taking it in. And whenever we had those little spurts in the game, the crowd was on their feet. I'm looking at the lower level because I was sitting in the Terrace Club, and I looked down at the lower level, and everybody's standing. How many times have we complained on message boards and the Discord and other social medias about the lower level blue hairs just sitting on their ass?
That goes back to the Pino days.
Monday night, that crowd was on their feet at all times whenever we went on those runs, and it was good to see. And if we beat Tennessee, we're going to be even more bought in, and it could be financially very good for the department, because we'll start seeing big crowds again in the Yum, because everybody's just going to be so bought in.
Kyle, me and you were both there for Louisville Live. When we walked in the building, we kind of walked in pretty much right after each other.
Yeah,
you could just feel the energy. And in Louisville Live, we had maybe 10K there, 10 to 12K. You can feel the energy. So the fan base is starting to really get that energy and the vibe back.
Mm-hmm.
A win against Tennessee is not a must win for the season, like we've already established, because we're going to have plenty of more chances for resume wins. But it's a must win for this fan base.
Yes.
Because of the opportunity you have. I'm going to assume this game is nationally televised, right? I mean,
I really don't even know, because
I haven't even checked that either.
I'll check right now while you guys are talking.
We might not be, because we've been so bad that
it's also,
I know we didn't have we didn't have very many nationally televised games when the schedule came out, and a few of them surprised me. So
it's on the ACC network.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Stupid. Anyways,
more reason to come to the game, guys.
It's an opportunity to tell the country that Louisville basketball is back. That's what it is. And a win against Tennessee, a nationally ranked Tennessee team, after all the shit we've been through.
Yeah,
we all know. I mean, dude, we came on this pod last year, and a lot of us were just like, "Holy shit, we don't want to talk about basketball. We
I
don't."
know, it wasn't good.
And sadly, a lot of our content last year was just shitting on the basketball program. I hate that.
Mhm.
I hate that.
Yeah.
But this is an opportunity to say we are back, and everybody will notice if we win this game. Everybody will take note.
Yep.
So that's why I agree, Kyle. Like again, not for the season, it's a must win. There's going to be plenty of chances. We got Duke, we got Carolina, etc.
Right.
IU, but for this fan base to make a statement and say that this program is back and we're not playing around anymore, it is a must win. It's a huge opportunity, and I can't wait to watch our guys play tomorrow.
Mhm. Well, and I
Absolutely.
can't tell you guys. I mean, I've talked to you guys in privately about this stuff, but like the last couple of years were so bad that my fandom across the board just kind of waned a little bit.
Yeah.
Not just from U of L, but basketball as a whole. I haven't watched an NBA game in 3 years because of where we've been as a program, because just watching any form of basketball would remind me of where we're at.
Mhm.
I didn't watch any college basketball games last 2 years. Last year, I didn't even watch the tournament, which is probably the first time in my life I didn't watch the tournament. But this year and tonight is where I really noticed that that it's kind of rejuvenated me the way we played
It's
last couple.
reignited the fire, right?
Yeah,
Like the whole fan base. It's reignited the fire.
reinvigorated me. Because like I'm sitting here on my couch before, getting ready, thinking about the pod and that kind of thing. And I actually turned on the North Carolina Kansas game.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it until like I had been watching it for 3 or 4 minutes. And I was like, I didn't want to watch college basketball the last few years.
No, me either.
But everything's just complete. I mean, granted, it's been one regular season game, but it just feels different. And I don't know the exact term for it, but everything feels different. It feels like we actually matter again.
To me, there's spirit. There's spirit in the program. And the weird thing about the PK staff spirit is I feel like it syncs up with the spirit we were used to when Crum had his guys rolling. He fell off towards the end some. But the prime Denny Crum teams were, hustle, fast pace, athletic, in your face, slam dunking all over the place, intense defense, overpowering, overwhelming people. Obviously, Rick Pitino had that kind of defense, especially just fast pace, up tempo, full court pressure, overwhelming people. PK's team, especially in that game on Monday, they have a lot of that. So like when the fans are up off their feet, it's because like you have literally stoked a flame that was like I thought was completely burnt out of all of us, but there was little embers left, little bitty embers, and you could barely see them. But PK somehow found them, and he's poured a little gasoline on there, and they're starting to sizzle up. They're starting to turn into some little flames. I tell you what, you win Saturday, it's a full-blown forest fire, baby.
It really is.
It's a forest fire of Louisville fandom spirit, the spirit from the program. I mean, I'm really on in my metaphor bag tonight. But guys, that being said, it's not going to be easy. And so I know a lot of people are feeling really good, and they should feel good about our team, but we do have quite a challenge. I mean, when I look at Tennessee, they got Zakai Ziegler, for example. Chucky Hepburn, this is going to be your game, buddy. Like, this is going to be the game where, we brought you here for these kind of matchups, because that's the biggest matchup of the game to me, because Ziegler's played a ton of games for them. He's like Chucky Hepburn on defense. He will lock you down, but he averaged 12 points and 6 assists last year with almost 2 steals. He's a very heady player, a lot like Chucky in a lot of ways. So Chucky's got his hands full. I know they got some guys out of portal like Darnell Stone Dubar out of Hofstra, 40% 3-point shooter, averaged 18 points a game for Hofstra. That's who they're going to try to replace Dalton Connect with. Now, I don't expect him to be quite that good, and that's no disrespect to that kid. It's just Dalton Connect. So I hope he's not that good, or we're in some big trouble. But, I mean, he's a good player. And so they've got a 6'10 guy Milicic, he played for Charlotte. He shoots 38% from three and averaged almost 9 rebounds a game last year. Felix Okpara, for example, from Ohio State, he averaged 2.5 blocks a game. So they've got defensive guys loaded up, locked and loaded. They've got 3-point shooters. They play very physical style of defense, and they shoot a ton of threes. So we got our hands full. And so what do you guys think the keys of the game are? I'll start with you, Ty. Ty, what are the keys of the game against a team like this?
Well, you talked about Sakai Ziegler. His impact on the court is second to none, really. I mean, you're talking about the 2024, SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He's already on the Bob Cousy Award watch list, first team All SEC. I mean, he's the real deal. So, I think ball control, making sure we're not turning the ball over, going to be a huge deal. I know against Moorhead there was some stretches, or maybe no, it wasn't Moorhead. It was
It was a game before that.
one of the exhibitions. It kind of got a little
yeah,
sloppy at times. So making sure we don't turn the ball over, that's going to be the biggest key. Because Ziegler can pick your pocket and he could take it the other way. I think ultimately, and another thing, rebounding. We're going to have to rebound. I think Tennessee is going to be the first real test with actual legitimate size, and we're going to have to rebound well. So it means everybody's going to have to crash the boards. My guy Javon Hadley going to be looking at you. We're going to need you to come up big and get rebounds. Kaysen Pryor. I'm going to assume Kaysen is doing okay after the ankle. I know he came back into the game, but a lot of times ankle injuries, it's really after the game and the next few days after. So we're going to need Kaysen at full strength. Making sure we don't turn the ball over, rebounding. Those are going to be the two biggest keys. And then obviously I'd like to see our 3-point shot get back to where we had seen it the first few exhibitions. It was okay against Moorhead, but we need more. We need more shooting. And I know this team could shoot. I'm not worried about that at all. I know shots will fall. We had a lot of really good looks against Moorhead. Some of them just didn't fall. Right. But we need to get the 3-ball. We need to get the 3-ball rolling too.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said there, Ty. My thoughts after the first, 2 exhibitions and then the first game is, going up against a top 10 type team. I do have a little bit of concern with our interior defense because Monday night, one of the things that was really good was our help side defense coming over and blocking some shots and kind of cleaning up some stuff. But against a much better opponent, just relying on help defense is going to be kind of tough because, you're playing a much higher caliber of team at this point. So I think this will be a real good litmus test for our interior defense. And also the rebounding. We need to not be pushed around on the boards. We can't give them a bunch of second chances. And then that first half, probably the first 2/3 of the game Monday night, really, we didn't shoot the ball great from deep. And I think when you're going up against a team like a Tennessee, you're not going to be able to shoot I think at halftime we were shooting like 22% from three, and we had shot a lot of them. Yeah. So doing that kind of thing against a good team could get you in trouble. So
we were 11 of 36 from three against Moorhead. Shot 30%.
Yeah, that's not very good.
That's going to have to be better. I think we're going to have to probably hit around 16 to 17 threes.
Well, and that percentage actually went up a lot because the last 10 minutes we made several.
Another thing before we go any further, real quick, James Scott, got to keep him out of foul trouble. It is imperative that James Scott stays out of foul trouble because when he's on the floor defensively, he's a nightmare. I mean, he's super long, he's athletic, but I think it was Moorhead the first few minutes of the second half. He picked up 2 or 3 cheap fouls in a row. Yeah. He had 4 fouls early. And he only played, I'm looking at the box score, he only played 15 minutes. We're going to need him to play 20-plus minutes, stay out of foul trouble, rebound and block shots.
And I do think that if we get off to a hot start in the first 3 or 4 minutes, the crowd could just be going bananas.
Yes. Oh, the crowd's going to explode the first 2 or 3
and the key with the crowd, the key with our team and the crowd noise is that they don't get too keyed up. They're experienced teams, so I'm hoping that experience rubs off. and that they can kind of channel that energy in a proper way, because it's very easy to get too jacked up and just kind of lose your mind. So play within yourselves, and hopefully they will. The keys for me, I need Chucky to cancel out their point guard. I need Chucky Hepburn to cancel out Ziegler, to where at the very least they both nullify each other. That's a win for us. If Chucky and Zakai are nullified, they cancel each other out, I take that as a win, because that offense runs through him for Tennessee, whereas for us, it does run through Chucky when he's out there, but we've got 2 or 3 other guys like Corin and others that it can run through. Tennessee may or may not have. I don't really know, because that's where my knowledge of Tennessee with their new
Lanier can really score the ball, man. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, I know. Like, I just didn't know about. I don't see if he's able to. I don't know if he's able to like facilitate the offense,
right?
Or not. So,
right.
I think Kadir Traore is going to have a little bit more than he's had. He's going to be a big part of it down low. Has games where he's had a lot of rebounds, other ones where he hasn't. But he's going to, against those bigs, he's going to have to bang. And I know against the better teams, last year when he played for Long Beach State, I believe it was, he had his better games against the best of the best. And we're going to need that, because one thing about him, when he's out there, he can't be a complete offensive liability. He's already not a shooter. He's not going to hit threes. He's got to give you something in the paint. He doesn't have to score 15, 20 points, but I feel like he's getting 3 to 4 points on 7 or 8 shots throughout these exhibition games and the first game of the season. Gonna need a little bit more out of him. So I need Chucky to cancel this guy out. I need Kadir playing well. And then the team as a whole, as you've alluded to, Ty, gonna have to hit some more threes. We're gonna have to shoot better than we have the last 2 games. And because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a barrage of threes. They're going to shoot them, and they're going to hit some of them. So you better make sure you're getting good shots, which up to this point, for the most part, we have. So you just got to continue that. Play within yourselves. Don't get too caught up in that, and use the home court advantage to your advantage, and let it get into the other team's head while you stay cool, calm, and collective.
Varen, appreciate you, brother. You have a good one. Thank you for all your support and watching us.
Yeah, thanks,
man. Sincerely, we appreciate you. Kyle, you brought up a good point with the crowd noise and getting too keyed up. And this team is experienced. I will say what I think is going to be different for them. A lot of these guys like Terrence Edwards comes from James Madison. Kadir Traore comes from Long Beach State. If once that crowd gets going, like I could already visualize it. Like, Rain Smith checks in the first TV timeout, and he comes out and bangs a 3. The place is gonna go apeshit. And it's just a different. It's hard to explain for people. It's easy for us as Louisville fans to get it, but for others that don't get it, that place can just go crazy when we're rolling. And we haven't seen it the last few years, right? We haven't.
No.
But I'm telling you right now, when Rain checks in and hits that first 3, place is going to go nuts. If we come out and get a defensive stop right off the rip and we come down and throw a lob to James Scott, the place is going to go nuts.
Yeah.
It's just a different animal when it comes to the crowd.
Well, and I thanks, Couch House. I appreciate you and Ezra and Varen. And just keep in mind, don't unsubscribe, because you never know when you might see us again. I keep bringing that up. Especially if we get a big win or something, we want to get on and just BS about it for a little bit. Ty, I know one thing you wanted to bring up was kind of the ticket situation. It looks like on the seating map, we should have a pretty big crowd tomorrow.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot in the Discord today.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this, okay? Josh Hurd, I know you're not listening here, but if you are. Please, brother, I'm begging you. And I know the lower bowl sold out quick, or it's pretty damn near sold out. Please lower these ticket prices to get fans back in the stands. I want to go to Louisville basketball games again. But when I get on Ticketmaster and I see it's $170 for a seat in the lower bowl, I'm so like I know there's people out there that are going to pay it. They clearly have. The lower bowl's selling out, right? And I understand it's a big game, but dude, throw us a bone. After the last 3 years, throw us a bone, man. Help get fans back in here. I want Josh Hurd to understand. You have a product that people are going to want to see. People are going to want to see Pat Kelsey basketball. It's exciting. It's electric. It's fun. People are going to want to see that and come back to the Yum Center. But I can only speak for myself. It is not feasible. I can't look my wife in the eyes and say, "Hey, honey, we're going to the game tomorrow. It only cost me $330."
Well, I think
you know what I mean? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Well,
No, you're not wrong.
But my focus with the whole ticket situation isn't on the lowers because, I mean, the lowers sold. So, like, yeah, they charge.
Yeah, I can't hurt. I can't.
That's business. I mean, they charge an arm and a leg, but if you're willing to pay an arm and a leg, they're going to take it. My issue and the issue that we've seen on X and elsewhere, where they're having to issue mass free tickets in the uppers. Shout out to Rick Keeber, by the way. Shout out to who else was it? Somebody else. The UPS was it?
Yeah, UPS.
Yeah, shout out to UPS. The problem is you get holes in that though when you give out tickets for free. A lot of those people either don't show up or they turn around and try to resell, which is what
we already had that today on Twitter, right? Someone pointed that out.
The big problem I see is the uppers are overall not a great view. Let's not pretend it's like
you're so high.
It's not like Freedom Hall, where Freedom Hall, you could literally point to just those tall back corners, like last 2-3 rows were the only bad seats in that place. So you're talking about like less than 1% of the seats. In the Yum, your entire uppers are rough. And, $75 plus fees, which on Ticketmaster,
and the fees are ridiculous.
Are $30. So you're paying over $100 a ticket to barely see the game. And I mean, people want to be a part of this.
Yes.
And I know that like some people are not bought in yet, and it doesn't matter if they
will be quickly though. They will
be quickly, but my point for this one game is, yeah, there are some people that are standing on the sidelines and waiting. They're in wait and see mode, and so they're not going to go yet. Mm-hmm. Understandable. But there were a lot of people who would be more than willing to go sit in those uppers for $15 or $20.
Right.
And I get it. You don't want to do that, but that's better than just having them all sit empty. So, yeah, you got some of them bought up, and thankful for the people like Rick Keeber that did that. But at the end of the day, man, those tickets are flat out overpriced. And I have talked to enough people some wealthy, some middle class, some that are just trying to get by. And everybody feels like those tickets are way overpriced. So it's a collective thing. And so hopefully we have a big crowd. But for future games, man, $75 before fees for uppers.
Well,
I don't think you can.
I know from experience that when you give away tickets, the redemption rate on free tickets is pretty dismal because people have nothing invested. They'll wake up in the morning. I don't feel like going. Right. I didn't pay for the ticket, so it don't matter. If somebody pays anything for the ticket, they're much more likely to go, even if they paid $5. The fact that they actually had to go through the time to go ahead and pay for it. Right. They don't most people won't just eat the cost.
Well, that's what I don't get. Charge $20.
Yeah,
charge $20 across the board. Run a
flat. People also don't remember
now, but
what I mentioned in the Discord earlier is a lot of people forget that the last couple years of the Patino era, those upper level seats were starting to get pretty bare. In the ends, in the corners and the ends were almost completely empty, even during the Patino era at the end. So it's like, the department need to remember that.
Well, college basketball attendance as a whole has, in my opinion, truly declined over the last couple of years, and COVID was a big deal of that. But here's my thing, and this is a separate issue, really, but it pertains to these ticket prices. The last 3 years of Louisville basketball, 4 years, whatever. Think about the young fan. Like, okay, I'm thinking for me, in my perspective, I just had a kid. Talon's 4 months old. He's not going to understand what the hell Louisville basketball is. But like, let's just say Talon was 5 years old. I want to take my kid to these games, and I want him to experience Louisville basketball like I can. And these last 4 years, you have probably lost out on maybe a generation of young fans, because who the hell wants to go watch this shit the last few
Yeah,
years? I mean, seriously,
exactly.
there's
8 years.
how many families have skipped going to the Louisville basketball game because they don't want to go watch a Kenny Payne led team or whatever the case may be. So my point is, like, you've lost out on a lot of the young fan. Do yourself a solid. Get these prices down to where people can afford it. Because I'm sorry, man, it is not feasible or viable. I am as middle class as it gets, man. I'm probably lower middle class. I can't look my wife in the eye and say, hey, honey, you want to go to the game tomorrow? It costs $420 to get into section 119. Dude, it's not viable.
The worst is you could pay $200 for 2 tickets after fees,
Or,
and
hey,
you'll
honey,
barely be able to see the
And
game.
you
you're up
wanna
in the
go
freaking rafters.
hey,
Yeah.
honey, I
And I
got
mean, if
2
people
tickets to
think
the
like us
game.
complaining about this is going to alter it, it's not, because
It's not.
literally that's why they're doing what they're doing, because those uppers are not selling. So like we're just saying what people are thinking.
Mhm.
We're echoing. And yeah, there's some people that'll gut it out and do that, but I'm telling you right now, not a lot of people are willing to do that, especially after the
I'm not
years
willing
we've
to
had.
do it.
I mean, if we were number 1 in the country and we just came off of a Final Four, you might be able to swing that, but we're nowhere near that.
Yeah. I think $75 for those corners and behind the basket upper level seats is a terrible deal.
I'm gonna tell you right now, and I told my wife this. I said, if it was like
I wouldn't pay that for
$70,
the UK game.
if it was like $75 for a lower bowl, I would have done
Appreciate
it.
you,
And to me, that's still expensive, but I would have done it because I want to be there. I want to be involved. I want to go back to the Yum. But Jesus, man, like I literally went on Ticketmaster 2 weeks ago. I had been looking for the Tennessee game to come up and pop up for weeks. I mean, Kyle, we talked about it in Discord. I was like, dude, where's the single tickets? Where's the single tickets? And I went on there the day that came out, and I put dude, I put 2 tickets in my cart, and I swear to God, my phone shut off. I can't, like, dude. Listen. The Yum Center, the Yum Center is a beautiful, beautiful basketball arena. It is state of the art, top notch. I'm just gonna be honest. The upper bowl is not a good. It's not for me, at least. It's not that great of a fan experience. I don't get a great view. It's not like Freedom Hall. If I want to go to these games, like I want to get a decent view. I want to see these guys play. I can't afford that shit, dude. And I know there's a lot of people out there that can, and I'm glad they're doing it. But please,
Well, and you know what? Yes, we talked about these giveaways by the UPS and others. Those people are not paying full boat for all those tickets.
no.
They're getting the credit for giving them away, but trust me, they're not paying the full boat.
Well, with
So they
Rick,
didn't pay no $75 a piece for those.
no, but with Rick Keeber, he's just done so many good things.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, he's just trying to get asses in seats. So, well, I don't care if he paid $5 per seat. The fact that he's willing to give them away for free means he's put money into it that he's willing to part with. So I'm good with that. I'm good. I'm better with that than not doing anything at all. But the best solution to me would be that he doesn't have to do that, because we're charging a lot less up there, and the view reflects that.
And the
But they
Ticketmaster fees
but
are
still,
absurd.
I mean, hey, I'll tell you what. If I'm in a situation where I don't want to pay a lot of money for the lowers, like I think I'm in 211 for this game, but let's say I didn't want to pay that, but I really wanted to be at the game and show support to the team and be a part of the crowd and the loudness and the rowdiness, and you throw me an upper for $20, I'm probably going. And yeah, I'd rather not sit up there, but I'll go for that. But damn, I mean, $100.
You in the
Hell
Terrace
no.
Club tomorrow?
I'm in section 211. I don't know.
I'm in 209. That's the Terrace Club for sure. But if
Okay.
you're in 211, if that's the Terrace Club, let me know.
He's in the Terrace Club, and he's not taking a vacation for 3 years after paying his prices.
Oh man. But that being said, man, I'm excited. I am pumped. Like this this is the game I've been most excited about. I didn't get to go to a Notre Dame football game last year. I was at a wedding. So I missed out on that. That would have been
I forgot you and Ross both, weren't you?
Ross was at a wedding. I was at a wedding. I feel like there was somebody else in the Discord that was in a wedding. But nonetheless, this game is the most excited I've been to attend a game in any sport in a long time. So that being said, excited about it, looking forward to it. I did want to kind of revisit what we talked about at the beginning because I don't know who all was in here. There's been people filing in and out. I'm sure it's Friday night. And for people that re-listen later. But I sent it out on Twitter earlier today on the Third Banner account. But for now, at least, I don't know what the future holds for this pod as far as if it'll resume or when it will resume. But for now, because of everybody's schedules having so much going on, we've had a hard time getting our episodes lined up, getting everybody together. We have decided that this, for now at least, will be our last episode of the Third Banner pod. And it wasn't an easy decision. I don't want to go too much into that again, other than to say, like we talked about it, no hard feelings among any of the pod members. A lot of hardships have come up. You know, we have full-time jobs, full-time parents, and stuff has come up. And unfortunately, the pod, even though we love doing it, is not a source of income and not a necessity. It's something we do out of enjoyment, which means it gets shelved for other things going on. And when the product starts to suffer because not enough of us can consistently be on, I don't want to put that product out. I know the other guys don't either. So I'm going to miss you guys, man. It's been really, really good. I'm going to miss you guys on the pod, Ty and Ash. I'll miss Connor, Ross. I'll miss Josh, Pat. Am I missing anybody? I feel like
I think that's pretty well rounds it up.
I hit them all. I'm going to miss all you guys in the chat, especially you day ones like Couch House. I know you've been here since day one.
I feel like Couch House was the very first episode.
Couch House was the first dude on here. Dang, he's still here now.
And he asked me how many days. It's been 22. Or it's not been 22 days until we beat Kentucky in football.
Right on. I did want to give special thanks to a few people in particular. Obviously, you guys. I appreciate being able to get to know you guys, working with you guys, people that, you know, we knew each other kind of through the message boards, but not really. But we become friends. We become, I don't know, a partnership, if you want to call it that. I won't say employees because we don't make money, but I do appreciate like Trent and others that have donated some money. That we appreciate that. But I mean, you know what I mean. We're not in here making any money, and whatever we've made, we've definitely put back into
the streaming costs.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to thank guys like Ethan Moore on Louisville Sports Live. He's been a big proponent of this show, and he's always been supportive of it. Always been very positive feedback. Ty Spalding, Louisville Rivals publishers. I want to thank him. He was on a couple of early episodes. He's pushed our product. He reached out today and was just like, "Hey, man, are you guys really done?" Like, I mean, he was genuinely curious. And Ty, appreciate everything you helped us with, especially early on, man. Mark Ennis, somebody that I never knew I'd be in contact with. I like his radio show, The Drive, every Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. I try to listen when I'm getting off work, and I can't. But he reached out, I think, after our pilot episode and told me he enjoyed the content. And then he started pushing the content and you know, I'd ask him a few questions. He'd give me some positive feedback about situations. And, you know, he's always been very positive about this pod. So thank you, Mark, for your support. Mike Rutherford, you know, when you reached out to Ross and had us on the radio, that was a memory I'll never forget, man, just because I never thought we'd be sitting there hosting a radio show, especially a show that I listen to very frequently. So I don't know how often Mike even listens or has time to listen, but I'm very thankful for that. Obviously, he listens enough to where he knew to ask that. And so thank you, Mike. besides thanking you guys, most importantly, I want to thank everybody that's given us a chance. It's been fun, man. It's hard. It's hard to even kind of get this out because it's not easy. We've had a lot of good guests. I'm thankful for all of them that came on. We've had a lot of good memories, a lot of good laughs. We've had a lot of shit times that we had to vent through together, like the kind of shit where you want to get on here. Dusty May turning us down at the last second. That pod,
as bad as it was then, it might be one of my favorite episodes now.
that pod was
To think
absolute
about it.
soup sandwich. Yeah, don't ever go revisit that episode. It was an emergency pod, and but we needed it at the time. We were all pissed off. Ty was ready to say the program was dead.
It was. It was. And then
But I've had
PK
so
came and
many good
saved us.
memories, man. I won't take any more time. I want to get all of that out, though. I don't ever want to exit if it's the end. I don't ever want to exit without exiting the right way. So I don't know what you guys think.
Ash, you want to go first, or?
Well, I just want to thank all you guys that are on, members of the pod, and then thank everybody that's been watching. I've missed you guys in my absence the last several months, and I'm probably as fault for us falling away as anybody. And so I do feel bad about that. But I've had a lot of good memories over the last year and a half with you guys. And in my opinion, this is goodbye for now, but we will be back. I know there's some skepticism, but I'm going to be dragging this crew back together. Especially we win a big game, we're going to want to be able to celebrate that. So just keep watching out for us, and it'll probably be some impromptu, unscheduled stuff that happens. And then, as we have more time to devote, we'll get the regular schedule back together. But we needed a break, and I think this is a good decision for now. But we've had too much fun together to just completely give up forever, in my opinion.
Yeah, man, this, like, when we started this, man, it was just an idea amongst, a little group of us to get on here and talk some Louisville sports. And I never thought in a million years that what started off as just talking in front of one or two people from our Discord group would turn into having a YouTube channel that reaches over 1,000 subscribers and reaches so many Louisville fans like we do. I just think about all of the fun content and the fun nights that we've had. I mean, I think about the Notre Dame game post game.
I'm just laughing about the games that you're talking about because I was remembering some of my stupid answers in the Wheel of Fortune and
the content games,
CW content, which is
the
one of my
content
favorite
games
moments.
were just awesome. The Notre Dame post game pod was an all timer. I still think about this day when we talk about the CW network, and
oh man, I was laughing so hard.
Dude, that was one of the best nights ever. And I think about so many more. I think about the Stephen Van Treese interview, like how cool that was. I think about JoJo Stone interview. I think
Deuce.
about so many things, Deuce, and um, we've had a lot of fun with this, and I've enjoyed every second of it. It does suck to do this. This sucks, but I do hold out hope that maybe in the future we'll all get on the same page and we'll figure this out again, because this has been a ton of fun. But the most important thing here has always been you guys in the chat. I can't describe enough how much that you guys mean to me getting on Friday nights, and I see you guys waiting on me. Like, I've been doing, putting the stuff together for a Friday night show, and I get on there and I see Ezra, who's already 20 minutes away. He's waiting for us to start the show. You guys mean the world to me. This has been so much fun, and yeah, I hope maybe who knows what the future will hold. So, but I appreciate all of you guys. Obviously, Kyle, Ash, Josh, Pat, Connor, Ross. You guys are the best.
And
Love
I
you
know
all like
some of those
brothers.
guys would love to be on here.
Yeah.
I know Ross can't really do Friday nights. Josh has been tied up. Pat had a hardship, and Connor is getting married tomorrow. So Connor's not going to be on here. And Connor also got that job with the NIL, so he's conflict of interest anyway. So that's why not everybody can be on here. and that's just kind of another reason, like I said, why it's been hard for a lot of people. But Ezra, we don't need your money, man. Although we appreciate when you guys like Desmond, thank you so much for your donation. Ezra, yeah, you're a blue collar guy, so you're the guy that you're not gonna pay 75 for the uppers, I'm guessing. I don't blame you, brother.
Me and Ezra will be watching on the couch. No, like you said, man, life gets in the way. Life's a beautiful thing, but it gets in the way sometimes, and this is nobody's fault. Just how it is. It does suck, man. It sucks. I hate it. I hate that this is it, but
All right. Well, with that being said, guys, I think we're ready to wrap this bad boy up. And hopefully by this time tomorrow, I'm hoping we are celebrating a big win. With that being said, good luck out there to the Cards. Pat Kelsey.
I had to do it one more time.
One more time for old times. Oh, that's hopefully.
I don't want you for Louisville basketball.
Hey.
got to go through them all.
And
All
last but not least,
Fuck you, K.
Always. That's where
Always.
it's hot or not. So that being said, guys, Pat Kelsey, by the way, I loved your press conference today. That just pumped me up even more. I forgot to bring that up earlier, but we're at the end now. So let me just say, looking forward to tomorrow. Super excited. With that being said, thank you all for tuning in to Third Banner Pod. And with that,
go Cards, go Kroger.
Bells up, go Cards.
Go Cards.